What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Eric, aka Young God, coming to you in this green dungeon, giving it to you real raw rugged. And I'm going to let the person on the other end introduce himself. Who do we have?
How you doing, Eric? This is Jon Denton from the Rock Reacts YouTube channel.
How you doing today, man?
Yeah, I'm good, dude. How about yourself?
I'm a little tired, but I'm doing all right,
Sorry,
man.
yeah, bit of an early start for you. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I gotta go take a boo boo on the toilet, but I'm just keeping it professional. You know what I'm saying, man? You gotta keep it professional, man. But I come to here today to talk about a couple of things because I know you do have the Rockets React channels, but outside of that, I'm pretty sure people would love to know what are your interests outside of music, because I'm pretty sure you just don't listen to music 24/7.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Like, my background professionally was writing about video games. That's where I started in, like, my first proper job, like proper career type job, back in 2005 on a video games magazine. I kind of worked my way through that, and I ran a magazine for a while, and then went freelance about 8 years ago, and been just trying to figure it out from there, pulling in whatever work I can, doing some marketing, consultancy, this and that. And then, tried the YouTube thing a few different times, tried it with gaming, tried some streaming, didn't really hit, it's a very crowded competition, as you know. And then, we kind of stumbled across reaction channels, stuff like Sean C, where I've seen you before, Lost in Vegas, a guy called You in his car. And me and Simon, we've known each other for years. He worked on the same magazines. We don't live near each other anymore, but then, we just one day over Christmas was like, I said, damn, it's a shame you don't live down here anymore where I live, because I reckon we could do this. He had a lot of experience in YouTube. He had the camera, the lights, all that sort of stuff. And he said, well, dude, why don't we just try and make it work? We're both freelance. We both don't have to be in an office all day. So, we somehow managed to make it work, and here we are. But, outside of that, outside of music, video games, like football, soccer, English football, and then, just normal stuff. I train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've got quite a few interests. I like to try and keep interested in lots of different things. But, right now, to be honest, last 6 months since the channel started, a whole new world of, hip-hop culture and everything around it my eyes have been open to it. And, it's a fascinating place to kind of exist in, sort of semi on the outside, semi on the inside, I guess. It's, stepping closer to the inside every day. I guess the more I learn, and the more we kind of understand and appreciate.
I think it's interesting, before I get into your hobbies, because in your videos, I realize you guys say you travel a lot of miles to get to each other. Do you guys live in different cities?
That's right. So Si's up near London, basically, and I'm right down on the south coast of England. So it's about a 90-minute drive, which isn't huge, but at the same time, I've got like family and stuff. We're both busy, and it's not like somebody's channels they live together, or they're just in the same town. So it does make it a struggle. It's why we haven't been able to be as reactive as we'd like. I mean, the channel's growing crazy, but I think it could grow even quicker if we were in the same place. But then again, on the flip side, if we were in the same place, maybe we'd have never bothered doing it, because it would have been too easy. It is sometimes when I've got friends that live down the road that I haven't seen for 3 years, just because you just don't make those plans. So we're just trying to figure out ways that we can get a bit quicker. Obviously a bunch of albums are dropping today, tomorrow, Saturday. Brockhampton last week, and we've not been able to touch any of those yet, unfortunately. So as it grows and as we get bigger, we'll figure out different ways of getting there. But it's about 100 miles the drive.
That's really crazy. I think I discovered y'all channel because I wasn't familiar with you, but I was familiar with Simon because of What Culture. I know he was over there. You weren't a part of What Culture, were you?
No.
Okay.
That's his thing.
Okay. So I seen him in What Culture, and I think I just see him in the thumbnail, and I was like, oh, he has a new channel. I didn't even know what it was about when I watched it, and I thought it was a very, very interesting channel. And it's funny because you say you see me in the Sean C video, and it was a part of the video where I went off on a rant about people from not North America talking about hip hop, right? And it's funny because I think I asked him, I asked my friend, I was like, hey, I'm interviewing that guy from the Rocks React channel. Got any questions? He was like, didn't you just say people from North America, should we talk about hip hop? And I was like, it's funny. I was like, but I think the way you guys do it, for the most part, you're coming at it from an ignorant point of view a lot of times, and you're acknowledging that. You're not trying to act as if how can I say it? Like I grew up on this. This is what I say, and it's law. You know, like you'll make it an explanation to say that. I know Simon does it all the time. Like, I'm not familiar with this culture, so don't take what I say as law. So I do appreciate you coming in and not, saying what you say is law. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I think it's cool.
I appreciate it. And when that rant just made me laugh, man. It was just, I wasn't taking it seriously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's just
when you called my man Irish, so that was bad. But we'll let you off. We'll let you off. It's
That's
okay.
funny.
A lot of people think I'm Australian, so
Really?
it's difficult.
That's funny.
But yeah, we always just want to come from a place of authenticity. Like, if you watch the early videos, I've always listened to hip hop. I probably got into stuff like maybe 2000.
Mm-hmm.
I was big into like the Blueprint album, Jay-Z and things like that. But I would never ever have claimed to be in that scene, especially before everybody was online the whole time. Like my online all the time was video games, the world of video games, and that's what I ended up in. And it'd always be the odd hip hop album here and there that I just really like the Carter 3. Like Second Clips album, just like random albums, because it was back then. It was before you had access to every single tune all the time, so you either had to go and buy a CD or get it through other means, however that may be. But it still took effort. So it's always been a genre that I've listened to. But yeah, like I say, we have to come from a place of authenticity, because we're not from the world that a lot of hip hop's from, especially American hip hop. Like we're just obviously not being from the country as well, but just a different. Our lives have just been different growing up, and that's just we always want to be open and truthful about that. But yeah, if we come in, even when we're doing stuff where we're a bit more knowledgeable now, like the Eminem, MGK beef, again, we always willing to acknowledge, we don't really know where it started, all this sort of stuff, but at the same time, we're learning a lot more than we did maybe 3-4 months ago. You're frozen there, man. You're still there.
Oh, really? Am I frozen still?
You're back.
Okay. No, I was gonna say before I even dive deep into music, I still want to touch on a couple of your hobbies, because you bring up video games a lot, and I wanted to know, are there any games that you're playing right now?
Right now, I still need to finish God of War. It's been bad. Like God of War is one of my favorite series ever, and just because we just moved house, there's a billion reasons why I haven't finished it. But literally last night I think I'm right near the end now, so I just need to do that. And then I've been about 2 hours into Spider-Man as well. Really like what I've played so far, but again, it's just time, dude. And the problem is, I don't know if you play much online, but like sometimes if all my boys are online, I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump into Rainbow Six, I'm going to jump into FIFA, I'm going to jump into PUBG. We're playing the Blackout beta the other week, so and I think I need to get through these single player games, but when I've got 2 hours in an evening and everybody's online, I can come in and I work on my own. You're in your house now, sometimes you get a bit stir crazy on your own, so it's nice to just have that social element. But gaming's been a big part of my life professionally, but it's always probably been my main hobby and pastime, and always will be, even as I get older. It's not going anywhere.
No, I definitely understand. There's so many. Like, I bought a lot of single player games recently, and I think to myself, why did I buy all these at once? Like, I'm not gonna finish these at all. Like, it's so many. But like right now, I'm very stuck on Yakuza 0. I really love this game right here.
I just bought it because my friends have been raving about that game, and I always wanted to play the original one when it came out. And it wasn't even available in the UK at first, and then they did the translation. I just never got around to it for whatever reason. And then it was on the like £10 or something the other day, so I was like, I'll get that. Of course I haven't even started it. Like, I have so many games sitting on my hard drives that I haven't even started. Like Dishonored 2, when's that going to happen realistically? Unless I quit all my jobs and just do rock reacts and play video games, that's it. But I'm the same.
Yakuza is a really good game. Like, when you play that, it's one of those games where, like, I play games for the gameplay if the gameplay is good, but I really love games with a great storyline, because I'm a wrestling fan, so I really like invoke into the storyline. So the storyline of this game is really, really good, because it's funny because my friend really wanted me to play Dark Souls, and me playing that game made me really frustrated, not because it was super hard, it's just because I wasn't interested in the story. So if I'm really not interested in what's going on, I can't play it,
Have you ever watched one of those videos that actually explains the story of those games?
The Dark Souls?
Told through like item descriptions, and it's really like esoteric and difficult to understand. But when there's a couple of videos on YouTube where the guy breaks down they're going through the levels and all the enemies, and every single thing in those games, almost every pixel is put there deliberately to tell this story. And then you watch that video, honestly, my mind was just like, this is unbelievable. You're right, there's not much of a story to get involved with while you're playing, but then when you go back and he's pulling it all apart, I couldn't believe it. That and Bloodborne. Bloodborne especially, because it was really up my street in terms of the kind of vibe of it. But yeah, I get what you mean. I've always been kind of interested in games as like a medium to be able to tell stories. Like when I was really into, I was like 16, I was like 1998 or 16, so show my age. But games were still, they weren't as cool as they were now. There certainly weren't the careers in it that there are now, with streaming and pro playing and all that sort of stuff. And so it was, it was marginalized a little bit. Like I was made fun of for playing video games as a teenager, which I guess doesn't really happen anymore. And because of that, I used to read magazines like Edge magazine in the UK, and they were taking this medium seriously. And I was like, wow, I really think there's something here. Then the PS2 came out, and there were some games that had a bit more story, character, some cinematic qualities, whether it's the Metal Gear 2, Onimusha, stuff like that. And that made me really sit up and take notice, and really then want to be like a games journalist, which is ultimately what I went on to be. And I think that whole world's changed so much now with online, with YouTube. And as much as I'd like to talk about games on YouTube, it just didn't click in the way that I like to talk about games. It just didn't work. Maybe I'll work better on podcasts, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, long story short, now I'm here talking to you. So who knows, everything's weird and everything just changes.
Well, a good thing about that is because, like, I guess my channel is more music related, but like I said, my life doesn't revolve 24/7 around music. I have other interests, so I definitely do use this channel to talk about things that I feel heavy about. So if you feel heavy about games, you could definitely, like you said, start a podcast, put a video on the Rocks React channel. If you're interested in games, go watch this podcast, go watch my second channel. So I definitely think YouTube is really good for that, for branching out to other things like that.
Yeah, it seems crazy already, because I've got my own little channel, which, like I said, I was doing gaming on, and probably 14 months got 1,400 subs, which is actually not bad for most people starting from zero. And then just from the the community thing on YouTube, where you can just put up the little social post on Rock Reacts, I put in, I'm going to maybe do some full project reactions on my channel, and within like a day I had an extra 2,000 subs just from like one video. Just like you say, having that as a base platform does open up a lot of opportunities, and will continue to do so, which is, it's crazy, really. It's like life changing, genuinely.
That's really crazy. Are you into wrestling?
Yeah, man. Yeah, the reason me and Simon ever spoke in the first place, and we talk about it as a video on our channel now, like it's called like our top 3 rappers so far, but we talk of it's like a Q&A vid. The reason he was like the new guy in the place where I worked. I'd probably been there 18 months, and everybody who worked there did a little thing on like their in-house internet, like a 50-word bio. And his was just like, I like wrestling, Batman, like all the things that he's just always all about. Yeah. I was like, oh man, I'm going to go talk to this guy. So I just went over and thought, okay, well, I've been like watching TNA, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, again, showing my age. So I'm going to go over and talk Samoa Joe. Let's see if this guy's a real wrestling fan. And yeah, obviously he knew, he'd seen the match and everything like that. And honestly, we just hit it off like that. And obviously he's gone down the wrestling path. That was always his dream, to be a pro wrestler, to talk about wrestling. He wanted to start a wrestling magazine. And I've always been a fan. I sort of drop in and out these days just because there's so much content that I can't keep up with it all. But I'm still watching. Like, what was the last event I watched? I haven't seen Hell in a Cell yet, but I watched SummerSlam. That was probably the last full event, and NXT Takeover. I always watch them. And yeah, but it's difficult. Like, you go on Twitter, someone's like, "Oh, have you seen this match from NGPW?" There's like 3 pay-per-views on the WWE network in the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, unless, again, I want to quit everything and just watch wrestling, there's no way of keeping up. But I tell you what, on that tip, taking a little time out of wrestling, 2 months or something like that, and going back in and just allowing their promo packages to tell the story, rather than watching 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown every single week. I actually prefer it, because I still get the storylines. Yeah, you don't get those moments, those reaction moments where someone might come back or an amazing promo, but you lose that like over saturation feeling that I don't know if you get it, but I definitely do. From January to end of Mania, I watch it all. Like I always will do. I just get fully into it for Mania season, like many fans. But after that, I do go a bit quiet. But yeah, it just gets too much. Like that's why I like NXT, because even if I just watch the takeovers and maybe the odd show, it's much more like a palatable amount.
Yeah.
It allows the storylines to develop a bit better, I think.
Man, I can't agree with you more because I feel like it may be a little too much for me because on Monday recently I was just like, this is too much. It's 3 hours. I was like, I do not feel like watching this right now. It's like a job.
It takes me a week on DVR to watch one episode of Raw, and then I'm like, well, am I supposed to watch SmackDown as well? And then it's the next week, or there's a pay-per-view. It's like, it's not going to happen.
And then sometimes Raw is not even good. And it's like, I just wasted 3 hours of my life watching this dumbass show. Like, what am I doing? So, yeah, I definitely do feel that. And it's funny because going back to the video where I did shit on everybody that wasn't North America, I will say that the UK scene in wrestling is really, really cool right now. What's going on out there with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate and everybody over there. So, yeah, you guys do have a very, very cool scene. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that or not.
Yeah, well, it's on genuine network TV over here. We only have 5 network channels. Everybody gets it home. And on a Saturday afternoon, like, the show isn't good. My kids love it. My oldest kid especially. It's very much family friendly, I think WWE snapped up the best wrestlers in the UK to go and work for their promotion. So you're getting like the second tier guys. They don't have the right look and stuff, most of them. But it's pro wrestling on Saturday afternoon on actual network TV, which is crazy, really. And then you've got the Progress and like Defiant and all these different shows, and then the NXT UK as well. So it's kind of come out of nowhere in the last 2 years. It's crazy. For years it was just those crazy local shows that would be in the town hall that you'd go and pay. It's just like old WWE veterans from 20 years ago or whatever. But yeah, man, it's blowing up.
Definitely shout out wrestling, but somebody I can't shout out is sometimes the people who comment under your videos. And I say that is because they set you guys up sometimes. They will give you like a song that I don't know why they will want you to react to. For example, I think yesterday you uploaded the mural joint or whatnot. I would have definitely never told anybody in the world who is not a hardcore hip hop fan, hey, you want some good rap? Go listen to Mural, because that song is like, it's like a abstract art piece. And if you're not into art, I wouldn't show somebody who's not into art abstract art, because that's probably something they're not going to be into. You might want to show them the classic art paintings, like, like the Mona Lisa painting. Like, everybody thinks that's a good looking painting, but I'm not going to show them some. I can't even think of anybody does abstract art off the top of my head right now, but I'm just not going to show them that, because it might be like, what is this? So
yeah, I know you mean like a Jackson Pollock that's just all the
you're like, what is this?
So we figured out within 2 minutes. This is going to be a tough one, because we couldn't catch the thread of what it was about, even with Genius. Simon was jet lagged to fuck, so it was tough. But at the same time, I did know who Lupe was. I'd listened to his, I think, his first 2 records quite a lot. Like, I saw Kick Push years ago on MTV over here. I hadn't really followed his career probably since like the Superstar song. So a while, just time escapes me. But so I did know him, his ability. I was a fan, so that helped. So I was giving him the benefit. Not that I need to give him the benefit of the doubt. The song's obviously unbelievable in terms of lyricism, but at the same time, you're completely right. Some people do set us up, and I don't think they do. They certainly don't do it from a bad place. They just go, oh, this artist, and this is, in my opinion, their best track. And you start seeing that same one over and over again. And we think, what would we recommend from a metal and rock background? You can't go straight to the 9-minute epic. You need to get somebody in. Yeah, like, so we'd say someone who wanted to get into Metallica, start with like Enter Sandman, Sad But True, stuff off the Black Album that's, you wouldn't call it pop, but it's very, you'd be hard pressed not to find a groove in that, whatever your genre, unless you just couldn't stand guitars at all. And then you could move on to like the Master of Puppets, the Fade to Black, the stuff that's got more time signatures, is more complicated. And even those songs, Metallica don't have a song that's as complex as Mural. And there's, Mural is basically that one beat the whole way through for 8 minutes with the odd bit of soaring vocal. And then I watched that video last night of, I assume you've seen the one of Mural where they're all done visually. The guy's like, it goes through the track. It's brilliant.
Never seen it.
It goes through the track, but he's done visuals to every single part, like fading and cutting into what he's talking about the whole time. And I've watched 2 minutes of it because it was too much to take in. So I'm going to have to do it in sections. But that song, I found that song really, really inspiring, actually, because it's like one of the things I've always loved about hip hop and rap, and more so, especially as we've discovered all these new artists, all these songs by artists that we already knew, and getting such an appreciation for the genre I never had before. Is I've always, as a writer, I've always loved what's possible with the English language, and that's what I've always found, even from Jay-Z, Lupe, people like Kendrick these days, their ability to fold and bend words and create new things with this language. I never understood why my peers in the writing world, magazine world, and stuff like that weren't big hip hop fans, because I don't think they'd ever been exposed to the right stuff. But yeah, Eminem's another example. Although he's always been massive in the UK. Like, a song like Mural's giving me an even stronger appreciation for the brilliance of what's possible with the English language. And to be honest, it's kind of inspiring me to try it myself. Now, it's not something I'd ever think about as a guy approaching middle age with 2 kids in England. But fuck it, you got to I always believe that you should try and follow things that you're passionate about, and it doesn't matter if other people think you're silly or going to laugh at you.
I thought you were.
You never do anything.
I didn't know if you were trolling or not when you said you were going to try it yourself. I didn't know because I seen you said in the video. I didn't know if you were playing or not, but you're really going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I started putting some stuff on paper yesterday, and it's like, I'm not happy with it, and it'll take a while.
Okay.
But God, the other parents in the school room might laugh at me, but it's not stopped me doing anything that I wanted to do. That feeling, even though you still feel embarrassed. Don't get me wrong.
It's really.
Sorry, I was just going to say, like I said before, if I come from a place of authenticity and I'm not trying to be something I'm not, then hopefully at least people will appreciate the endeavour and try, whether or not they like it or not, and whether I have the balls to actually put anything out in public or I just do it for myself, who knows. But enough people keep asking now, so I might have to. Now I've said it, I've put it out into the world.
I'm really interested to hear it because somebody like me who grew up immersed in hip hop, from my mom playing rap and R&B and soul, which R&B and soul still has elements of hip hop to it. My dad playing Ice Cube and Tupac and all of these rappers. Like I said, just growing up with my family. I'm black, so of course everybody's listening to black music. So I think it's interesting because I'm not going to consider myself a rapper, but I know how to rap. Like, I have the ability to be a pretty decent rapper. So I think it came natural to me just because that's all I heard when I was growing up. So for you, who I would imagine parents were not playing rap when you were growing up, I think it's interesting to...
They weren't bumping Biggie and Tupac.
Yeah. They were not hardcore hip-hop fans digging in the crates. So I think it's interesting for you because you didn't grow up listening to that, so it's almost like you're how can I say this? You're basically picking up a new craft that you're still trying to figure out yourself. So I don't know. I just think it's interesting to hear somebody learn how to rap who wasn't immersed in the culture.
Whether I can rap, whether I can actually make that stuff come out of my mouth, I don't know. I genuinely, I don't know. I've still never really tried it outside of the bathroom yesterday, but so I know, I believe in my heart that I could write it, just because I've got so much experience in writing, and I've got decent rhythm. Like my brother's a drummer, my dad was a drummer, and stuff like that. So like music is definitely something that's kind of in my blood to a point. So I believe that I could like write to a beat and things like that. We'll see. Like I say, it's funny to even talk about, but at the same time, fuck it, it's fun to try. And hopefully, if I come, like I say, from a place of authenticity and don't ever try and present myself as something that I'm not, then hopefully people appreciate it. And if not, I'm sure they'll let me know. They'll let me know in the comments.
I'm definitely all for it. Also, another song that I thought was pretty funny that you did, because this is not something I was expecting the React channel. I forget the name of the song, but it was the last thing you did from Tyler, the Creator. Was that suggested by a fan, or did you pick that one?
No, it was one of those, sometimes when we go up, we notice an artist that we know or we like has dropped a new track. And it was literally the day we were up there, new track, Tyler, the Creator. So we're like, sweet, last 2 videos we've done of his, crazy views, we really like him. And then we were like, pretty soon we were like, there's not going to be any words in this, is there? But we thought we ummed and ahed about even putting it up, but we were like, fuck it, people can show that these are real reactions, like we're genuine, not like listening to stuff before and trying to fake it, anything along those lines. And we call it out in the video. It's like, I mean, obviously it's not a fuck up necessarily, but at the same time, like, what could we do? We didn't know. You don't want to do too much research beforehand, so that happened. But I think it was a fun little spot in the journey. But that's how that happened. That wasn't a suggestion. No, that was just like, we've had that work for us as well. Someone dropped something that day and we put it up, and it does really well. I think we were there, or maybe the day after Potato Salad dropped with him and A$AP Rocky, and that's gone on to do, I think it's close to 200k for us. So that's why we took jumped on it again, thinking it was another new track, but it wasn't. Never mind.
I think I'm going to safely say this, and I think that you should definitely take me up on this. I think I should be the correspondent to Rock React. So if you need some songs, or if you need to like, hey, I have this artist, give me a good song by him. I think I should be that guy because
Let's do it, because yeah, like you say, I think Mural's a cool video to have on the channel, but I kind of wish that we had Mural on the channel in 6 months, where we've done two, 3 Lupe tracks by that point, maybe something off his new joint, and then
nothing off his new album. Nothing off his new album. That's worse. It's worse than Mural. I'm not in a good way. Like it's more complicated than Mural. It's crazy.
Sure.
It's crazy.
So maybe we do Kick Push so I can tell the story. Maybe we do like Hurt Me Soul or something like that, and then we can go in with the knowledge that this is going to be work. We do it the first recording of the day after a coffee or something like that, and then I just think it ends up being a better video on the channel. But like you can't construct it too much, right?
Facts.
Especially when we are in a thing where we're reacting to new music as much as possible, but we're also a reaction channel that looks back a lot more than a lot of channels do to try and explore the past as well. And we are going to go to the wrong song sometimes. The MF Doom track we did was one of like many that were suggested, and it wasn't the right track. I mean, I've gone back through that track and looked at Genius and stuff, and it was pretty mind-blowing. But for a first reaction, when you're trying to pay attention to a guy, especially for Sai, who's really is still very new to hip hop. Like before 6 months ago, he'd basically heard Slim Shady LP, the few tracks that come on the radio over here. Like plenty of hip hop's come over here, but it's not the same. Especially before like the grime scene really came to be. But like obviously 50, Jay-Z. But even then, it's just the odd single, Hard Knock Life. 99 Problems, things like that, rather than like constant rotation. And it all depends. Also, a lot of people over here, English people, before the grime thing came around, they like a very specific type of hip hop. It would normally be kind of old school stuff like Dilated Peoples, things like that. A lot of hip hop to smoke to and think to, whereas they didn't really like bangers of any description. So I remember a friend of mine who's really into like Master Ace and all these like quite dense rappers, and then I said, try this Clips album that I talked about before, which I still think's amazing, and he was just like, no, this is trash. And I was like, and then I thought for years, because he knew more about it than me, and I thought it was trash until the whole Pusha T stuff came out. I realised it was the same guy. That's how ignorant I was. Didn't even realise. And then looking back, I'm going, oh no, everybody rates this guy as like one of the best around. He's incredible, and that album's rated really highly. So I felt good about that, because I was like, oh no, I was right all the way back then, like 10 years ago, whatever it was.
Nah, going back to MF Doom, I feel like MF Doom. A funny story about him. When I first heard of him, I was in middle school, maybe. Yeah, maybe he's been out for a minute. I think I was in middle school, and I listened to Mad Villainy, and I was. This is like an album that accordion album was on Mad Villainy, and I was like, I don't get this. I was like, I don't want to listen to this anymore. So I tried the next year, and I was like, yeah, this is even more bad. I was like, this album is terrible. So I'm going to say it took me about 3 years to even like MF Doom. So MF Doom for a reaction channel, I don't even know if he's good for a reaction channel, because I feel like his music is so niche, because he does this thing where he raps off beat. And you've been listening to all rappers rap on beat. So when you switch it to a guy that's off beat, off kilter, he's not even on the time signature, like he's just going off beat, you're just like, what is going on? So I can definitely understand you or Simon listening to MF Doom and just really not understanding what's going on, because that's really something that you may have to build a tolerance for, because he's not for everybody at all,
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because I remember listening to, sorry, little spiders just come down in front of me. There you go. Like the fourth Metallica album, it's called And Justice for All. Probably listened to it first time when I was about 14, and again, didn't get it at all. That's an album with a lot of weird time sequence changes, really long intros. There's not a lot of bass to it. It's a kind of weird album. It's definitely not something I'd ever recommend somebody trying to get into rock and metal to start with. As we were talking about before. Again, it's not as dense as complex as MF Doom, but at the same time, musically, it's a difficult album. But now, I've gone on to really, really appreciate it. But again, it probably took me 10 years, and I try it again, and I'm going back to Nirvana. I'm going back to something a little easier. When I was older, I'm going to Slipknot, Korn. Whereas, yeah, now again like that. So I think, yeah, I would challenge anybody who are really good at catching bars on their reaction channels, because I do study that game as well now since I've been into it. I watch everybody, and obviously some guys are really really good at catching. Sean being one of them, and like I don't know if you know XX Younglord and AK the Cannon. They're pretty good at catching bars. The Law Twins, pretty good catching bars, I'd say. I still challenge them to do an MF Doom track that they hadn't heard and catch it all and understand what's going on first time. I don't think it's possible, like you say. I think you'd need to read and do Genius and study and try and figure it all out, which is great. I think that's amazing that music like that exists. But you're totally right. For the first time you listen to, it's not built for listening to once and having an opinion of, and that's fine. But that's why I think also the reactions are good, because we don't want to just be in a situation where that's trash, because A, chances are we don't know if it's trash or not, and B, we also know enough about music and have been experienced about so much music for so long that people know that some music just isn't instant. And that's as simple as that.
I think
we've liked. Sorry, I was just quickly going to say we've liked some Tekashi tracks, less so more recent stuff, and that is extremely immediate. But that stuff will be gone from my brain in 12 to 18 months. Probably, depending on what he does with his career. Whereas MF Doom will hopefully be something that I can delve into for a long time, or more Lupe or whatever, whoever it is.
I guess to put the last little sauce on this topic right here, I think that Simon said something really interesting in that Mirror review. He said that the lyrics are good, the flow is good, but what exactly is supposed to be catching me? Like, what's supposed to be grabbing to me? And that's something that I would expect somebody who really doesn't know a lot of hip-hop to say, because somebody who will listen to Mirror like me, who's been listening to hip-hop forever, they would be like, these bars are grabbing me. Like, the bars are what's got me on the edge of my seat. It's not like the melody or the aggressiveness or the hard-hitting beat. Is what is he going to say next? Which I don't know how many genres is like that of music, to where you're on the edge of your seat. Yeah, you're like, oh, what is he gonna say next? Because usually you're listening for the melody or for the instrumentation, but for rap, what is the bars? So I definitely can understand why some of these artists or some of these songs would not be great for a first reaction.
Yeah, I just don't think we got to that S rank, level 99 level yet. Because if you go and watch the earlier videos, an interesting video to watch is the first Kendrick video we did, which is DNA, and Simon, he was listening to it as we do with rock music, as a kind of whole piece, and the beat didn't really get him. He couldn't understand. We didn't have the lyrics up. He couldn't understand. He couldn't catch a single bar. And then we've learned over time to exactly like that, listen out and really try and pay attention, and then let the beat do what it does, especially on a more lyrical track. I think J. Cole's a really good introduction to that, because he's very easy to understand. He's not too dense. I think he's very clever with his wordplay. I think he's brilliant in his wisdom, but he's quite easy. You can understand, even for an English guy, 95% of what he's saying pretty much first time. And so I think that was a really good gateway for both of us into getting into slightly more complex stuff. But so we put on a track like How Much the Dollar Cost, Kendrick Lamar, and we had lyrics, and we wouldn't have caught every bar first time, but we had the lyrics up, and you're exactly right. We were there, edge of our seats. Where's this going? What's this about? What's the story he's trying to tell? Obviously, that's got the big ending. So I think when we go into a track like Mural, being told it's this lyrical masterpiece, which it clearly is, I'm not doubting that for a second. I think you can see it, especially in Simon's face, as someone who's never heard Lupe before, and mine as well. That we are looking, we're looking for that thread. We're looking for the story. Okay, we're trying here. We're trying, and it comes to the point where it's just like, we're not going to get this. It's not going to happen. But then the odd 4 bars would come along that would be mind blowing. There's one that ends with where the app bit where we talk about applications and we end up in an Apple prison or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, and we were just like, that's unbelievable. And then it made me assume it's like this. The rest of the track is probably this good as well. I just don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But again, I now do more. I now do more because I'm doing my study. I'm doing my due diligence. But yeah, we just find the world fascinating. So just being able to go on a journey, and I think that's what people have been gravitating to us as well. The fact that it is a journey, isn't just us coming and stepping in from the outside, saying some things or going, no, this isn't for me, and leaving. We genuinely, even on songs that we don't like, if people are telling us, people like yourself, experienced people who are telling us that they're good, we may still end up not liking them 6 months down the road, but if we don't like it now, we're at least going to try and work out why. And is it us, or is it the track, or do we just not gel, or do we need to learn more, or do we need to improve our ears, all that sort of stuff. And also, it's American slang. I mean, it's hip-hop slang, of course, but ultimately we are English as well, which is why I find a lot like grime easier. Even though I don't talk like that, I don't use that slang day to day, like the London grime slang, the Northern grime slang. Like I know what it all means. So when I listen to a track like that, like a Stormzy, Skepta, Dave, whoever it is, I can understand it pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
Even if they're talking about ends, man, them, or the classic grime slang. But yeah, some of the American slang is just like I literally I've never heard that in my life. Like never in a movie, never in a track. So then like at one point we were just like, "What's Kroger?" I've never heard that in my life. And all the people in the comments are like, "You don't know what Kroger is?" And we just realized, it's a store, like a big chain store in America. But we just never heard of it ever. So that's kind of fun to see that stuff as well. But all we can do is try, I guess. All we can do is try and get better.
Showing somebody who doesn't is is not a big hip hop fan, Mural is like showing somebody who doesn't love video games like their first game ever being Dark Souls. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be like, "What is this?" But a quick question for you: do you? Because I know you say you're a writer. Have you ever interviewed anybody?
Oh yeah, like hundreds of times. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna flip it on you right now because you guys you often, have questions that you seem to not have answered in your videos. So for me, being somebody who knows a lot of hip hop, do you have any questions about hip hop, about artists, about certain type of music and rap that you don't have answered yet? That you're like, I don't want to ask this on camera because it might sound dumb or anything that you just might have answered.
But that's a good question. You put me on the spot a little bit, and I don't mind asking anything on camera if it seems dumb because you just got to be authentic like that. But just to kind of flip it around a little bit, like where do you see hip hop in the next 3 years? I know there's this kind of like dichotomy at the moment between the new school guys who we've been surprised at how much we do like, especially guys that are kind of inspired by metal, grunge, from the Trippie Reds, obviously X, people like that. And there's obviously that kind of argument at the moment between the more of the old school heads, which I guess in terms of age I would fit into as someone in his mid-30s, and the newer school kids. Like, where are we going to be in 3 years? Are we still going to be arguing? Is there going to be an even younger generation coming through with a different sound? I guess it's hard to predict, but I think we've come into it at such a fascinating time because it is like the first real, maybe not the first, but in my interpretation, the first real kind of cultural shift within the genre. Whereas rock and roll's had multiple because it's just been around longer. Where jazz and other things have been around even longer than that. But hip hop, you went from the kind of the Sugar Hill Gang type stuff to the gangster stuff, and then stuff in the 2000s. But I don't think there's ever been this generational shift, in my interpretation, from pretty much an outsider and not even somebody from the same country as there is right now. So my question to you, long story short, would be where we going next 3 to 5 years?
Well, just to kind of touch on that, I think that this is not the first big generational shift. I think like the really first one, excluding, like you said, like the Sugar Hill Gang, like the first rap songs ever until like the 90s, like this is exclude all of that. I would say it was probably in the mid 2000s when like Lil Jon came out, and it was like a lot of crunk music, and it was just a lot of like shake your dreads and shake your head, like that type of music, and people were just like, what is going on? Like that's when even Nas made an album called Hip Hop Is Dead. That's how done he was with rap, that he came to the conclusion, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna make an album called Hip Hop Is Dead. That's how through he was with hip hop. So I think that was it. And then right after that, Soulja Boy came out, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows about Soulja Boy and the dance or whatnot. So that took over the world. So then you came with ringtone rap. So ringtone rap was basically Soulja Boy and music that was catchy, that was fitting for your ringtone back in the day. So that was, I think, like the craziest generational shift. And I think we're in our second one right now with, I guess, the quote unquote mumble rap that's going on right now, which I definitely want to ask you about. But I don't know where you see 3 years from now. I think it's just a constant evolution. I don't know if it's I think we're still going to be in the same place of the quote unquote old heads still getting mad about the young rappers and their story, this and that. So yeah, I feel like we're going to be in a very similar place. Just I don't know, similar place.
The younger guys who are coming through, and also the younger fans who like that type of music, I don't think many of them are under false impression that these guys are as lyrical as, or they're not really trying to create the same thing. Whereas it does seem like the older heads are mad because they're not living up to this supposed standard of what hip hop and rap should be. So I think we get the benefit of being outsiders, and that we can just appreciate everything for what it is. And while I understand that argument, at the same time, coming from rock and metal, like, but I really got into heavy metal in about 1998, and it was because of new metal, not because of 80s and 90s, you know, classic metal. I've gone on to appreciate and love a lot of that as well. And definitely the metal community, when I was 16 years old, hated us. You know, we'd be this new bunch of kids going to the metal clubs, and all the guys in their late 20s, you know, they're just like, fuck these kids. And so that's where I kind of vibe and understand where this new generation's coming from in the mindset, because it feels like, yeah, I mean, they're coming through with these artists and falling into this genre because of like a new style, and the other community doesn't understand them. But what's happened with new metal is a bunch of bands stood the test of time. Some are still around, some musically stood the test of time. A lot disappeared, and I think that will be the case here. And the good artists will, you know, and it's a simple thing to say, right? The new artists will, the good artists will hopefully stand the test of time and maintain an audience. And you know, if we have Lil Pump in 4 years, who knows? Like, he may go on to do great things. I'm not going to count anybody out, but I don't even mind what he's done now. I think it's fun, but you know what I'm saying? I think, yeah.
And it's funny that you say it's fun, is because hip hop started like as party music, like fun music. So it's funny when like quote unquote old heads like, oh, this ain't real hip hop. It's like when real hip hop was trash, really, because they really couldn't rap. Like, it was just a hip, a hop, a one with my shoe, and I came in and I'm sticking like glue. It's like, that's terrible. It's like, and that's what
stuff's gonna sound like.
And it's funny because it's like that's how hip hop started. So a lot of it's really an up north mentality, because up north New Yorkers really don't like the down south, because I'm from Florida. That's really down south. So they really don't like us because they think that we're not real hip hop, we're not being lyrical, we're not this and that. But it's funny because people like Curtis Blow, people that really pioneers of hip hop, the first rappers, they really just made party music. Like, they weren't trying to be the most lyrical, over the top person. They were trying to party. So in essence, Lil Pump is real hip hop as it gets, in the essence, if you want to keep it like that, because it's party music, and that's how hip hop started, as party music, not I'm finna get intellectual and spiritual and lyrical, you know?
That makes total sense, and I think that might also be why I've got an appreciation for, you know, this stuff. We did one of the Lil Pump tracks, Get It, and basically I slated it and said it was trash, and then all the people underneath, I was expecting just to get hate, but we got loads of really interesting comments going, well, this is just turn up music, it's party music, it's not supposed to be taken seriously. And I was like, fine. I still don't really like some of his messages to a yoke about drugs and necessarily the way he talks about women in his videos, but like, whatever, I just sound like an old man talking like that. But other people are like, no, this guy's just about hedonism, that's kind of his image, his thing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I get it. And then I thought to myself, like, yeah, I'm from rock and metal, and that's the genre, but also culturally in Europe and England as well, like house music, dance music, techno music is a huge part of our musical culture, way more so than hip hop, especially before the last 5 years. So, and that music most of the time doesn't even have lyrics. It's just party music. It's just to get you to turn up. It's just to get you, you know, pumped and excited. You know, predating dubstep, predating all of that stuff from the early 90s even through to, you know, the trance movement, late 90s and stuff like that. So I can get like a real appreciation and understanding of music that's just designed to do that, whether it's lyrically dense or not. And at the same time, we also have English people are pretty self-deprecating. Most of us, we're more than happy to laugh at ourselves. So music like, you know, like the Kanye Lil Pump track when they're in the thing, I could see some people getting mad about that track, but it's just, that to me is just fun. It was just like a comedy piece. Like, what are you going to listen to? Yeah, you're going to sit there and listen to that and discuss it? Like, what's to discuss?
It's like just a parody song.
It's just funny, And I mean, that's, in that respect, it reminded me of kind of an English sense of humour, because we are more than happy to laugh at our own. You know, we like to act a certain way and be a certain thing and be looked at a certain way, but we're also more than happy to have that torn down and laugh at that. And you can take that, go to Australia, and that gets an even more extreme version of that. So I think that's some of the things that people don't realise sometimes on our channel, that we, you know, we're not always like, you can take the piss out of us, to use an English phrase, like, We'll do it first, you know what I mean? We're not like, we know we're to be laughed at, as well as hopefully enjoying that you can exist in the same thing. Anyway, God, I've gone off on a tangent now.
Well, no. I was gonna say, sorry for putting you on the spot, but do you have any more questions that anybody that I don't know. Like I said, it's any hip hop questions. I'm just gonna talk for a little bit, make you think. Any hip hop questions that you may have, because I see you guys always ask like, why isn't this artist bigger, or why isn't this that, or just anything that you may have
Yeah.
regarding hip hop or music in general that you just want to ask out there, because maybe you don't talk to people on a daily basis that's hardcore hip hop fans.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's so. Who do I need to be hearing coming through right now? We need to be hearing, like, I mean, I'm not asking who do we react to next, but who's on your radar that you think over the next 2 years, maybe they're the next GID, somebody like that who's coming up right now that straddles that line between. So I'm hearing some guys come up and they've got brilliant lyrics, but the music isn't that good. I'm hearing plenty of guys coming through who you can understand they're from a party kind of atmosphere, or their beats are good but their lyrics aren't that good. But I'm not, apart from him, who I think's amazing from what I've heard so far, there's nobody that's really straddling that line that I've heard in my limited. Because also we have to be careful that if a new artist comes out, it's the downside of our channel, we can't go and listen to their music. Like I've heard like 4 GID tracks, I think, or like a freestyle and 3 tracks. I want to listen to everything he's got right now, literally this afternoon, but I can't, because I want to save some for the channel, and that's why we allow ourselves after a few tracks off a project to just go and listen to the whole thing, because otherwise you never, can't really get an appreciation. But anyway, so if a new artist comes out, like I'm hearing a lot of people talk about Sheck Wes right now, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, I want to hear that, and now I forgot to do it on the last session with Simon. I can't listen to his track. I don't even know what type of music it is. I don't even know what style it is, but we keep seeing it. So it's difficult, because before, if somebody recommended an artist to me or said this album's out or this EP's out, just listen to it on Spotify. And now I'm like, right, I'll listen to that in 3 weeks, maybe, if I remember when I go and see Sai. Anyway, yeah, that was my question. Who do we need to know about who's coming through right now?
It's funny because this is also, I would say, a niche. Well, it's not a niche, but he's a trap artist, and his name is Hood Pablo Juan. But Hood Pablo Juan is one of the trap artists, because when a lot of people think of trap, they think of not lyrical. But I think Hood Pablo Juan is a pretty lyrical guy, and also has a lot of humorous lyrics. Like, there's a lot of artists in rap that I'm really not sure if they're trying to be funny, but it's funny. You know how somebody may say something, just somebody may be a naturally funny person and not even trying to be funny. I think he's one of those people. He has a lot of witty lyrics. So Hood Pablo Juan.
I've heard the name.
Okay,
before.
you heard the name.
So,
it's funny because
I haven't heard any music.
he has an EP with Brodinski, and Brodinski is a producer who produced Yeezus. He produced on Yeezus a lot. So he's a trap. Yeah, so he's a trap producer rapping on Yeezus electronic type crazy beats. So
all right, we're gonna do one then for you. We'll definitely do one next session. Which track should we do? We'll be the standout first one to go for.
I'll text you about that. I got to think about a very good one. I got to think about a good one. Let me see. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good on the spot question. I have to think about that one, because I feel like there's a lot of trash artists out right now that's new. So I can't even give you a lot. Hood Pablo Juan is the first person come to my mind. But yeah, it's a lot of trash out here right now. Yeah. So I can't even think of anything.
I don't need somebody to be J. Cole or Lupe Fiasco at all. Like, I'm more than happy for them not to be. But again, yeah, I am hearing a lot of stuff, and it's like, okay, it just reminds me so much of new metal. Like, there was these 4 or 5 hot bands that came through, and then there were some bands that were a bit more complex, like Deftones, and then you just got, like, when the record labels started to realise, sorry, the room I'm in has a pipe, so sometimes you hear water. When the record labels started to catch on to what was making money, and they were like, okay, who can we sign? Who looks like Slipknot? Who wears a mask? And there's all this music that sounded exactly the same started to come through, and that's what killed it in the end. And then it moved into a kind of poppy mode with Linkin Park and things like that, and that was it. New metal was dead. It came and went. So
I don't mean to interrupt, but
it reminds me of that.
I was gonna say that's exactly what's happening, is because everybody sounds the same. That's why I think everybody's trash, is because everybody wants to be on this similar wave. Like, oh, he's doing that, let me go do it. Oh, he dyed his hair pink, let me dye my hair pink. Oh, he's singing while he's rapping, let me sing while it's everybody trying to do the same thing. So there's not a lot of people doing anything different. That's why I like Hood Pablo Juan, because he's doing this, like, he has his own flow, and it's funny because everybody's doing that flow now. It's a lot of people doing the flow, because he has a flow where, like, he'll overlap his words to the point where he'll probably have to do, like, a second take. If he says, ooh, I'm drinking the double gup, he'll have to, like, stop that and then come back in and say the next line, because he's, like, talking over the last sentence he just said.
So it's like a produced
Yeah,
type
yeah,
of
yeah,
flow.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's interesting.
And
What do the older heads think about that then? Because that seems to lack the purity that they might want.
I don't really know people like Chris Paul. It's funny because I review his albums, and it's not a lot of people that review his albums. There's not a lot of people that talk about him. He's pretty popular. I mean, he's not even that popular. It's hard to explain. It's like he's not at the point to where he's on the old heads radar, you know. So that flow isn't that big enough to where even old heads even know about it.
Sorry, okay. Okay, no worries. Yeah. Yeah, please, thanks. Yeah, flat white. Thanks. Yeah. Sorry, my wife's just gonna go and pick up my other kid from school, but my youngest one's just sleeping on the sofa.
No, you're
so
okay. You're okay.
I had to pause it for a sec. Let me shut the door again. Actually, I'll keep it open a bit so I can hear him. It's different because I'm so used to interviewing people, so when stuff like that happens, I'd be mortified. But now it's a bit different, you know. I'm sure you understand the reality.
Definitely. I definitely do.
Yeah.
I definitely do. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just shout out who is probably one. But yeah.
I'm so excited. Like, I love my whole thing. I've always considered myself a serial recommender. That's why I like. Before I ever worked in magazines, I loved like recommending games, albums, movies to people all the time, and then I got to do that professionally for years. But in magazines where I didn't have my name at the bottom, which was slightly frustrating, so they didn't know it was me, but it didn't matter. And now I'm still like that, and now I kind of get to do that on a channel, but also people, I know so many people are like that. People love to recommend people, and that's what I think fuels a lot of these channels, especially ones that are not just doing new music. So people get to do that with us, but then I get to go and tell my friends. I've got some friends who are into hip hop and growing into hip hop that, you know, I'm doing the YouTube thing, and I'm like, oh, dude, like Denzel Curry was a big one. Literally never heard of the guy. And then we did one track, and we were like, oh my god, this is exactly what we want. This is exactly what he wants. He sounds like heavy metal without guitars, but he can rap. Like, he can genuinely rap very, very well. And so I was like texting friends, dude, you have to go and try this, and like, you know, whether they did or not, like, that's always the thing when you recommend stuff to people. But because I like recommending stuff, I'm always open to people recommending things to me as well, because I always like to try things. And the good thing about music is it's short, right? If someone recommends me an artist, I can spend 8 minutes listening to 2 tracks and get a vibe. Whereas if you recommend a movie or a game, like, you know, a game you got to spend $60, spend however many hours, all this sort of stuff. A wrestling match, am I ever going to remember to even find it on YouTube or whatever like that? But music is just so much more immediate, especially these days.
It's crazy bringing up Denzel Curry's because I don't know if you ever heard the song Ultimate, but that's one of his biggest songs. And
not yet. I've only heard ULT. I would have, but again,
Ultimate is the one that you have to react to. I say that because when I first heard that, I was like, this sounds like a metal song. Like, this sounds very like, because like the vocals were kind of getting overpowered by the beat, by the beat, and they were just heavy, and I'm just like, this is crazy. And I think that song is crazy. So I think that Denzel Curry is a person that if you love metal, if you love rock, that's the song, that's the artist that you would show them to, because he has a lot of hard rock and hard elements in his songs. So yeah,
we get a lot of people, and I appreciate it a lot. I mean, we appreciate any comment we get, even if you're just calling us idiots. But you know, especially the recommendation ones and anybody who's showing love. But we get a lot of people going, "You're like this because it blends metal and rap or metal and hip hop all the time," and that normally to people means guitars and rapping, and that's never really been. We hear a lot of tracks like that, and or they're screaming and over a beat, but that's just not what the essence of metal is. Metal is like Sumo by Denzel Curry. It's not his most lyrical song by any stretch that I've heard, but that heavy kind of slow beat is a headbanging beat, and the essence of what that song is heavy. Heavy is kind of a difficult thing to define. You know, whether it's heavy metal or heavy whatever, but that was it, and we were like, wow, it does exist. You know, we come from like Limp Bizkit, that was rap metal, Head PE, other different bands from back then, but it never, I always wanted to hear the guy that could rap that had the essence of metal, rather than the heavy metal band that had a rapper that, you know, quite honestly most of the time wasn't exactly very good. But so he to me has probably been the best discovery of the channel so far, because I've got an artist that I now love, and he's coming over here in a couple of months. I'm hopefully going to get down and see him and cause some ruckus in the mosh pit. But
well, last question for me, then we go to the fan questions and we can get out of here, because I want to ask you about this. What's your thoughts on mumble rap?
It's difficult. I think we've learned what is and what isn't, and different people's definitions are different. I think there's certainly, from what I can understand, some people that think if you're not completely clear and lyrical and not completely of your own, as little production on your voice as possible, then you'll mumble rap. Whereas my interpretation, like, I can imagine somebody calling Travis Scott mumble rap because of the auto-tune that he uses on his music, whereas to me it's like, this prog sort of wall of sound amazing thing, and he uses his voice as an instrument. But my thoughts on true mumble rap, if we're talking about, like, I guess Little Yachty, would he be? I know we haven't done any on the channel, but his music's been on the radio over here and some other artists like that. Depends on the track. Like, because I don't come from a purist point of view, I'm open ear to anything. So when I first heard it, I was like, I don't get it. This is just stupid. Yeah. But then I understood. It did also help. I understood the drugs that were fueling it, and I've come from Britpop, which is fueled by fucking cocaine and marijuana. Metal was fueled by cocaine and alcohol. House music fueled by MDMA, speed. It's not psychedelic music fueled by LSD. So I've got no issue with that. It's not something I'd want to project to the world, but I get it. That's just where a lot of music comes from. So once I understood where the drug that scene was coming from, the lean, the whatever it is, the sort of down as the Xanax and things like that, it made me understand the music so much more. And I thought, well, maybe if I was somebody who did any of that stuff, it would speak to me even more. So again, long story short, it's a track by track basis. Like, I've heard some tracks that I kind of get on with and think, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. But then again, what's the definition? Is Ski Mask mumble rap? I mean, he mumbles, but I've since gone into his lyrics, and they're hilarious. When I first heard him, I just assumed straight up mumble rap. So I don't know. The definition seems blurry at the moment, but track by track, completely. I'd never write anything off on a genre apart from country music. I don't get it. I'm English. No, I'm only joking.
No, I think personally, I don't think there's such a thing as mumble rap, to be honest with you. I think that there are some songs where artists are mumbling, and I think that it could be either fused by drugs or really, like I said, it's a South thing, because people from the South have a different type of drawl where we might slur our words, or I'm pretty sure you heard people from America, from the South, talk like it's maybe a little hard to understand.
Culture is built on American movies and music, so
So some people may talk with a different type of drawl, and that's really popular in Atlanta because just that's the way they talk. So I think that I guess me being from the South, I can understand it way easier than somebody that live in New York or Connecticut, because they're not used to hearing people slur their words or talk like that. But I don't think there's anybody that's built their discography off of, I'm just gonna mumble throughout my whole entire record or anything like that. There are certain songs where people like Future or Playboy Cardi, like, they may have mumbled, but I don't think that's the thing where, hey, like, I'm purposely gonna mumble or I'm just gonna mumble. That's not really a thing. So I don't know. When people say that, it just sounds like they can't understand what the person is saying, because most of the times when I listen, I'm like, oh, they're not mumbling, they're talking very clear to me. But I don't know, sometimes it's drugs where they are literally mumbling, so it depends.
It's interesting. Just to jump onto what you're saying, like, obviously England's a lot smaller country than America, and has obviously been around a lot longer as well. So, but we have hugely different regional accents, where you only have to drive a couple of hours to get to hear somebody who sounds almost completely different. I don't know if you've ever heard someone from Northern Ireland who is speaking English, but their accent is insane. Newcastle, like some parts of Scotland, we're all speaking English. My accent is pretty much as normal English as you can get. So I think because we're used to hearing music sung in different accents, we're used to hearing people talk on TV in different accents, and because everyone in America is a different accent to us, perhaps, and maybe I'm just talking about myself here, like, when I hear an artist from Atlanta and they sound like that, I just go, okay, that's what artists from Atlanta sound like right now, rather than they're disrespecting or disparaging or undermining hip-hop. Like, first time we heard Migos and Future on our channel, both loved it. Middle absolutely loved Mask Off. I don't think Mask Off, I get confused which one's
Mask Off.
Yeah. But and then, like, we even like the Migos stuff we'd heard, like, mixture of humour, some funny lines in there. And, admittedly, we couldn't catch every bar because it's difficult for our ears to tune into that even more so than someone who's perhaps a New York style, or however you want to put it. But yeah, but the whole channel's about being open-minded. My whole thing's about being open-minded. My whole life's about being open-minded and just letting as much in as possible, especially as I get older. So I always try and understand, and I've always been in the mindset, if there are enough people that like something, I will try and understand why they like it. May not like it after that. Never going to like Taylor Swift, really. Yeah, she's got a couple of tracks, but you know what I'm saying? Like a pop artist, even though she's massively popular, or like American Idol or something like that, even though it's massively popular. But I get why people understand. I know why people like Taylor Swift. I know why people like American Idol. I know why people like, McDonald's fries. Like, I get it. Doesn't mean that I particularly like them, but quite often when I get to the essence of something by doing a bit of research, and these days it's easy. It takes 10 minutes on the internet. I'll gain a different appreciation for what it is I'm listening to, watching, playing. Games has happened to loads. Game genres that I never understood before, and then I get why people like it, and then I go in with a different mindset. So I'd actually recommend that to anybody who's watching this, and try and go into things with that type of open mind. And it doesn't mean that you suddenly have to like stuff that you don't like, at all. But I found I could have easily blocked out so much great art by having kind of a single focused genre-based mindset. And just by opening that up a little bit, like the first time I heard my friend at university playing the Blueprint out of his room, and I was like, "What the hell is that? That sounds amazing! I never heard that Kanye type of soul beat before," and that was like made me think an artist who I didn't like at the time, Jay-Z, completely changed my whole opinion of him. And then I started to actually listen to what he's saying, because I'd heard Hard Knock Life and stuff, and I didn't like the sample. Anyway, once again, I'm rambling like I do, but yeah, the whole channel is about being open-minded, about being letting stuff in. So we'll try. Jesus. How long have I just talked about nonsense? 10 minutes. Maybe I'm a mumble rapper, just mumbling away.
That's hilarious. Well, let's get into these fan questions so we can get out of here. Nexie Don says, ask him who does he got in the white civil war and rap between MGK and Eminem.
Dude, I'm going to make a video of this on my new channel, on my existing channel. I just need to buy a light. And then I'm going to get back to doing some stuff on my channel. It's interesting, dude. I'll let you in a little spoiler of my thoughts right here, though. I don't think it's as much of a whitewash, for want of a non-pun word, as people are saying. Lyrically, in terms of rap music, in terms of what my understanding is an outside of whatever, like I know enough, there's not even a comparison. Like the bars in Eminem's track are on a different level, the wordplay, the references, everything like that. But kind of like a magician, I think there's an element of smoke and mirrors to it, because if you listen to Killshot, he doesn't address the key points of Rap Devil. He doesn't address the fact that Eminem, called to MGK, has been going in there and undermining and trying to destroy a man's career based on a tweet, which is the antithesis of everything Eminem has ever stood for being. And also MGK, like, I kind of slated him a little bit in his track for constantly saying M was the GOAT, like, bigging him up, but at the same time he did, because I thought it was a cowardly move, because it gives you a back out clause, you are the best. But then when he started to back up his actual points, it allowed him, rightly or wrongly, to be able to say, I'm not going to be able to out-rap you. Like, who can? Really? Maybe 2 people in the world, if that. But it does not, I've made some points here, and I went back and listened to both tracks a couple of times, and I was like, he didn't address that stuff. He mentioned it in the Sway interview. He barely mentioned it in the track. I don't know. I think there's still ammunition there for MGK. Now, who do I think is a better artist? There's no comparison. Who do I think had the better rap song? No comparison. Although I think Rap Devil is a bit of a banger, and I like the beat. But yeah, I think there's more to it than meets the eye. I think there's more to it than one man's dead and one man's alive. I think and I'd like to see it go more. I genuinely did. I'd like to see MGK come back, because I listened to that interview he did on The Breakfast Club. I don't know if you watched that. This is how much I'm into it now. I didn't even know what The Breakfast Club was 6 months ago. And I was like, mate, he's got some points. Came off as a bit of a dick generally, but he's a musician. Like, I don't care. Like, I can't expect musicians to be normal, friendly people all the time. Sometimes they're just going to be dicks. And then I listened to his EP, because I knew we weren't probably going to do it on the channel, because we just get loads of downloads from the M stands. And one of the tracks on there that he actually talked about lately, I was like, that's a good track. It's a good banging track. I like the beat. There's some substance in what he's saying. It's not brilliant lyrically. It's not wordplay. It's not folding words. It's not that clever. But yeah, I think, long story short, again, I think I still stand by what I said before. I think it's a draw right now. And I I think there's ammunition and there's points that Eminem has not addressed and has avoided using smoke and mirrors.
I feel
That's my
like
thoughts.
you say smoke and mirrors is interesting because even when I talk about was it Kill Shot as a rap song, I don't even think it's that great. I think it's cool. I think that he does a lot of fast rapping, which is disguising. He's not really saying a lot. He has bars in there, like something about like my name is Shady. That's why y'all always live in my shadows. I think that's fire. But a lot of the stuff he says in there, he'll have like 10 to 15 seconds of great rapping, and then he'll chop up the flow, and then he'll do something else, and it's just like, what is this? I think that naming it Kill Shot also did it harm because I don't look at it as a kill shot. It's like an arm shot or a leg shot, you know? Like, you could definitely live from a leg shot because you have a lot of tissue. You live from a leg shot. There's science behind that. So I feel like it really wasn't a kill shot because I've heard him do better. Like, he has a diss song called Nail in the Coffin. I think that's an excellent diss song. That could be a kill shot. This right here, it was cool. Like, it wasn't. I didn't feel it. Like, oh man, he said this, he said that. This is crazy. Like, I think Adonis freestyle by Pusha. I think that's a great I think that's a great record. I think that is from disrespect to the bars to everything. Yeah. Like, it has what you want to the beat.
Undermined everything that Drake is and was as an artist, especially as to people who only knew Drake from his hits at the time. Like, he's massive on the radio in the UK, as big as he is in the US, I'm sure, but only since One Dance, really, probably, so only in the last 2-3 years. So to us, Drake is a big pop artist who hangs out with Rihanna and does God's Plan videos, and he's this great dude, and Pusha T just unraveled all of that, pulled it all apart, and I've never looked at the guy since. I still like Scorpion, I really liked him, and I'm looking forward to going back and hearing his old stuff, but yeah, I'll never think of him in the same, as a father as well, I'll never think of Drake in the same way, so you're totally right. Like,
I tell people that all the time, like, the fact that he controlled the narrative, that's why I give Pusha T the W's, because even when you think about Drake and his kid, the first thing you think about, he's a bad father. Drake could have the most amazing father run in the next 5 years. You're still going to think, Pusha T said you're a bad dad, though.
I'm always going to have that image in my head, the cover art.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which was a justifiable image by what, by the explanation of what it was. If I was as big a star as Drake and I had that image somewhere in my past, well, especially as a completely white person, I would get ahead of it. Go, there's this thing in my past.
Yeah.
Whether you do that or not is risky, but to have someone like that come out, that image is gonna. I think he's managed to ride it out reasonably well, and obviously the album's done very well, and he's, the Kiki thing's kind of distracted everybody now. So, but yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying about whether or not it was a kill shot. Like, it's not. Like the brilliant line about like Stan, Dad's not mad or whatever it is. I'm sorry, I'm bad at quoting rap lyrics. You're like, well, he wrote his name on the starter cap. Yeah, I remember that from Stan. That's fucking brilliant, and it was. But it's just like, if MGK had come at him going, I'm a better rapper, I'm a better MC, I'm what you... A couple of lines he does say, like, I'm what you kind of wish you still were. And in that respect, him like, fuck off. No way. But like, the key points of Rap Devil, which I think would have been a better track a minute less, with less throwaway bars. But, I understand how quickly these things are turned around and made. I think, I want to see it continue. Hey, it's been fun. It helps that I really know one of the artists. Like, I was there pre-ordering the Slim Shady LP from America, before it came out, and I heard Eminem for the first time on like Tim Westwood's show back when he had the rap show on Radio 1 at like midnight. Didn't know he was white, didn't matter anyway, but like, to see the image of what he was, it didn't. I don't say that because it spoke to me as a white person. Everybody's American to me anyway, so I really don't see the world like that. But it was just interesting. I was like, oh wow, he's like, because the only white rapper I knew then was Vanilla Ice, and obviously he was a laughing stock. So I was like, oh wow, this guy's also white. That makes him even more interesting, just because he's so different. And then obviously he's gone on to be one of the biggest stars ever. So it's really interesting to see a diss, back and forth from somebody that I know as well and know a lot of his music. But I agree with you, dude. I don't think it's a kill shot. I want to see it continue, and it's good for the fucking views on the channel, man. The views are fire. So
I didn't think about this, but to be honest, the Drake diss towards Pusha, what was it called, Deppy Freestyle? I think that's a better diss than Kill Shot, because I think that's a really good song. I think he has a lot of bars in there. He hit a lot of points, even though he didn't come back from the Adidon thing. I think from a song perspective, I think Drake said a lot in there. I think he rapped very well. I think the beat was pretty cool. So I personally, I would pick Duppy Freestyle over Killshot because I hold Eminem to a super high standard, and I just didn't think he met that for me on Killshot. So I don't know. That's just me. But
I love it though. This is the whole thing about hip hop that I never really knew about. You know, I remember listening to. I was listening to Westwood again years ago when Nas and Jay-Z were beefing, and I didn't understand. There was like a track, and he was dissing this. I just like I don't even understand. It just made no sense to me. Like, what do you mean they're dissing each other? And Westwood was going nuts, and people were calling in going nuts, and now it makes total sense, especially in the internet world.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's beautiful for reaction channels because that's arguably why these songs now exist, for having people to go, wow, fuck, and all that sort of stuff. And it's just great fun. And you know, you're a wrestling fan like me, so it's all the same stuff. It's all the same. It's all. I love it. I love you. Like real fighting. I love wrestling. I love drama. I don't even mind reality TV. To me, it's all the same. I love the fact that hip hop has, you know, is driven by these bars that like you can really tear someone apart with words. And you know, as someone who loves words, that's very appealing.
Life is Precious says, no question, just tell him that I'm sending love and I love the channel. So shout out to Life is Precious. Nice. And last question from Yamasuka, I think that's how you say that. He says, ask if they think rock music will make a significant comeback popularity-wise.
No. There's no innovation. Listen, nothing's for certain. Nothing's for sure. There'll always be big rock bands. Whether they're all, you know, new rock bands will come through that will blow up. There's like Royal Blood in the UK right now, are a two-piece, kind of heavy, rocky, pushing towards metal, bluesy type stuff. Really good, but again, they're all nostalgia acts. Like that, they sound like this band from then. Who sounded like this band from then? Yeah. The only interesting music that's coming out of the UK right now is in the kind of grime and like the drill scene, which I don't even know that well. All the rock music and indie music just sounds like stuff that comes before it. Now I can quite happily listen to that stuff, but when the advantage hip hop has in this respect is because, like we talked about before, bars and lyrics. You can have a song with a mediocre beat or just a beat that's there for whatever reason, flipping it back around to mural, but it's so lyrical that it stands, you know, on its own for that reason. And some rock music has incredible lyrics, but people aren't listening out for them. Does that make sense? Like we come from, you know, the culturally, like they may be printed on the inside of the CD or on the back of the record back in the day. You may listen. Like Nirvana's one of my favorite bands of all time. I don't know barely any of the lyrics, and most of it's kind of abstract. Do you know what I mean? It's not. Yeah, there's not like I'm not really learning much about Kurt Cobain's life from his lyrics. I'm enjoying his poetry, and when I have explored his lyrics, they're beautiful. But we don't have in rock music. I say we, so I'm not on anybody's team, but I don't think without that you can't have music that sounds the same as music from 10, 20 years ago and say the same things, or they're just about some vague generic bullshit and say something new. Now I'll always like a great metal track that makes me want to go and crush people in a mosh pit. I'll always like a thoughtful, interesting indie track or something a bit more prog psychedelic. Like I'll always like that type of music, but I don't see it taking that upturn. I think it's going to be hip hop and rap and whatever you want to call the genre of that's coming through now, which is basically kind of pop music. A lot of that genre now. Nothing wrong with pop music. Like, that's got a negative connotation to it, but the Beatles are pop music. You know, like pop music is, you know, Oasis in the UK with pop music. It just means popular. So yeah, I don't. That answers the question. No. I'd be very surprised. I don't know if there's that much more can be done with guitar, bass, drum, and a singer. I think it's all been done. I may be wrong. Happy to be wrong. Would be delighted to be wrong. But yeah, that's how I feel right now.
Well, I just want to say that I started off this interview very tired, but your great conversation skills, it woke me up, man. I'm definitely very alert and everything.
It's the first time anybody's wanted to interview me. It's kind of a crazy turnaround. So yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No, dude, just thanks for reaching out. Like, it's been super cool to chat to you, and yeah, thank you for anybody who's watched Rock Reacts. I look into the camera for this and like left a comment, left a like, or you know, kind of helped us on this journey. Please feel free, you know, hit me up at Jon Denton. There's no H in that John on Twitter, and drop me a recommend. I don't always respond to all the recommendations because it's just I can't. But if you come talk to me outside of that, or have a chat, I'll always, you know, come and chat back. That's definitely the other thing that I love about this crazy explosion that we've had over the last 6 months. But yeah, man, just thanks for the support. Great to talk to you, dude. You're definitely going to be like on the consultancy for Rock Reacts going forward. Yeah, definitely going to be hitting you up with some more recommendation ideas or which artists which track from which artist to go for. But dude, yeah, here we are. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing where we are in 6 months, in 12 months. Hopefully we can turn this into a bit more of a full-time thing, and get rid of some of the work that I don't love doing, and see where the channel goes. Fucking crazy, dude. But yeah, and I'll be here hopefully front and center in our funny little spot in the huge wide miasma that is hip-hop culture. You know, we're never going to be front and center, we're never going to be in the middle, but you know, we just want to support and be authentic, like I said all along. So yeah, once again, thanks. That's about it, really. Thanks.
Well, until next time, I say what I mean what I say. Haters gonna hate, players gonna play. Holla at your boy.